when doing a word problem that involves the law of cosines, you're going to use one of these formulas here to be able to solve it. So let's look at our question. A fisherman leaves his home port and heads in the direction of north 70 degrees west. He travels 30 miles and reaches Shell Island. The next day, he sails north 10 degrees east for 50 miles, reaching Forest Island. Find the distance between home port and Forest Island. So, this one looks kind of confusing, so I would like to draw a picture just to see what's going on, see if it might help figure out some things. So here we are at my home port here. And I am traveling north 70 degrees west. So that means I'm going to be going north, but in a western angle of 70 degrees. So going this way here until I get to Shell Island. And I know that this distance here is 30 miles. And then from here, I'm going to travel north 10 degrees east for 50 miles. So from here, north 10 degrees east for 50 miles. And so this here is the line between the last island, Forest Island, and home port. So, what else do we know? Well, we know that we're traveling from home port to Shell Island north 70 degrees west. So what does that mean? That means if we're looking at this as a north and south here, that this is like a 90-degree angle here. Well, 70 degrees north, 70 degrees west means from here to here is 70 degrees. And then from Shell Island, again, we have our north and south here. It says north 10 degrees east. So this here is 10 degrees. And then we get here. So that's all it gives us to figure out the distance from Forest Island, the northernmost island, to our home port in the south. So how do we do this? Well, you got to work around a little bit what's going on. So let's focus more on this here. I see that all it tells me is from here to here, but I have this little dotted line imagining going right through it. So we don't have to really worry about that, but we do know that if this is 70 degrees here, that this remaining degree measurement here is 20 degrees because this is a right angle, 90 degrees. That means if the line were to have continued, this angle measurement here would be 20 degrees as well. And since a line intersecting two parallel lines, the east to west, right here, this is running east to west and this is east to west, and if this is 20 degrees, then that means this here is also 20 degrees. So 20 degrees here, 20 degrees here, which is nice, but it doesn't tell me what this is completely. But it gets me closer. I know that this measurement from here to here is 90. And so if this is 10 degrees, that means the remaining degree measurement here has to be 80. And if this degree measurement from here to here is 20, then 80 and 20 here will give me 100. So this angle measurement here is 100 degrees. Very helpful, because now I have these two sides and I have this angle measurement, and I have this unknown side. So I can actually use, again, the law of cosines. And so I didn't label anything, but I'm going to do that here in a different color. So I can say that this point here on the triangle is A, this up here is B, and this over here is C, which means that this here is little a, this over here is little b, and this dotted line side here is little c. Now I can go through and fill out my law of cosines. Since I need to find little c, I'm going to use this third formula here. C squared equals all of this to find out what c is. So c squared equals a squared, which is 50 squared, plus 30 squared, minus 2 times a times b, so 50 times 30, cosine of 100 degrees. And just put this all in my calculator, and again make sure you're using degrees, not radians, and we're going to end up getting c squared equals 3,920.944533. I'm going to go 6 decimals here just to make sure. And then take the square root of both sides. C is going to equal 62.6 to 1 decimal place miles. So the distance from Forest Island up north all the way to our home port here in the south is 62.6 miles.